Here are 3 reasons why, if you own a home, you should own an irrevocable trust. Let's get started. Number one, foreclosure protection. When it comes to the world of foreclosure, a lot of homeowners are unfortunately not very informed. They aren't informed because there's no one teaching this, there's no one talking about this on the grand scale. And because of that, when it comes to the foreclosure process, what happens to a lot of homeowners and families, they end up having to lose the home if unnecessarily when they didn't necessarily need to. And that's because of lack of financial planning, also lack of estate availability, and lack of liquidity of funds. Now, to not get a little bit too deep when it comes to this, is just something that you need to understand when it comes to doing the business of finance or just being in business period. And that's something called Uniform Commercial Code. That stands for UCC. That's how countries and businesses do business with one another. That's how China does business with Japan. That's how Japan does business with America. That's how America does business with Mexico. Mexico does business with Indonesia. All countries have to be on the same code. Now, when it comes to the Uniform Commercial Code, one thing you have to understand is that everything is based on credit. And not to get too deep here, your mortgage is based on a credit system. Now, you as an individual, it's a taxed code. Now, as you being a part of a tax code, you have certain liabilities that are attached to your name. And those certain liabilities are attached to the assets that you are unfortunately not realizing that you are entering into commerce with. Now, once you step out of the world of an individual and step into the world of a trustee, those liabilities that are attached to the individual are no longer attached to the trustee. Now, what am I saying here? I'm not saying not to pay your bills and just live in the home and be a squatter. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is a strategy that's available for families who fell on a hard time when they put their home in a trust. It gives them time to alleviate some of the stresses that most people who are beginning to go into the foreclosure process unfortunately will go through because they have no proper structure set up in the way that they own their assets for themselves, especially in their home. Okay, so yes, if you put your home in a trust, specifically an irrevocable trust, it can limit or even alleviate the whole foreclosure process. Number two, mitigation of taxes, estate, and property. Yes. So we know that when a home is sold, they're called capital gain taxes, estate taxes that are applied to the sale of a home or applied to sale of pretty much anything in this country or worldwide at that point. Um, so again, this all goes back to private versus public, individual versus trustee. These are separate. These are certain designations that are placed upon people, and if you don't understand what they are or how to possibly use them or how to for them to benefit yourself, you will be unfortunately put into the same bracket that everyone else is. Okay, so estate taxes or when the estate is sold off and them people got to get their money. Okay, so if you want to avoid that, and especially if you're a well-to-do family, avoid those estate taxes, which can be 10, 15, 20, 50, 100K, depending on how wealthy you and your family are. If you want to avoid those taxes, you want to put your assets inside of a trust and get them out of your personal name to avoid liability. That also goes on to called property taxes. Now, I don't know at the current recording of this video, I don't know the average amount of what property taxes are. If I would guess, they're probably around maybe anywhere from 75 to maybe $200 per month that most homeowners are paying. I'm guessing. Could be wrong, could be more, could be higher. Um, but if you want to avoid those property taxes, especially if you're having a 15, 20, or 30-year term on that mortgage, that on the low end, let's say $75 a month if you're paying for your mortgage, that can turn into a couple thousand if you plan it out for the next 30 years. So a lot of savvy, well-to-do people are actually putting their homes and their other assets inside of trust and inside of the proper structure to avoid all of those taxes. So estate and property taxes can be alleviated or at least mitigated once put inside of a trust. Number three, eliminate probate. That rhymed. So yes, once you put your assets, especially your home, inside of a trust, the probate process becomes eliminated. Why do you want to eliminate the probate process? You want to eliminate it because it's expensive It's time consuming and it's draining to your family. Your family has already lost you, right? Your family no longer has you. They're a superhero, they're matriarch, they're patriarch, whoever that you were to your family, they no longer have you. And then you want to, I'm not saying you, but then they go through this long, drawn out process, probate process, and stuff like that. Who has time for that when it's not even necessary to even happen? Okay. So what you do is you put your assets inside of a trust, home, whatever it is, put inside of a trust to eliminate unnecessary processes that don't have to happen. Probate is for people who don't have the knowledge that you now have because you just watched this video. Okay. So those are 3 quick ways that if you're a homeowner, owning a trust, especially an irrevocable trust, would benefit you. Take care.